Welcome to the Cuban Cassette podcast. This is the very first episode. Although you're going to notice by the title, this is going to be called Cassettes. So the very first episode is going to be Cassette 1 and so on, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to mess that up and call it an episode instead of a cassette, which is what I want it to be called. But that's alright. So my name is Lazaro Rodriguez. And you might be thinking, why would this person start a podcast? And the reason why I wanted to start a podcast is because I like talking about things. Why not, right? And I like talking about things with people. And if there's something that is really, really fun to me to do is interact with people on the internet, because that's pretty much who you can interact with the most. So I figured that if I record a podcast and I talk about things that are happening around the world, well, more specifically here in the United States, things that are fun to talk about, and I'll post it online, I could give some people, say some response and some thoughts, and like that. It's almost like having a conversation, except I only get to hear your thoughts afterwards. But that's okay. That's all right. So for like the three of you who are going to probably listen to this on the very first episode, appreciate you for tuning in. The first thing that I want to talk about is Infinity War, the movie. That movie is pretty good. I think everybody pretty much has seen it by now, if not almost everybody. This past weekend, there was some news that the movie broke a bunch of records, including the fastest movie to make it to $1 billion. And I think that's pretty impressive, especially when you consider how many movies have made to $1 billion, which is quite a lot. It's been a lot since like 2008. This is the fastest. It beat the Star Wars movie from 2015, which, by the way, I haven't seen because I don't like Star Wars. And there goes a couple of the people that were listening. Woo! What a joke! That's my first take at a joke. So yeah, so the movie was pretty good. I've seen every single movie from the Marvel Studios that they made, including the Incredible Hulk one from 2008, which I didn't realize it was a Marvel movie from Marvel Studios until I think it was a couple years ago when I found that out. And even that one I liked. I pretty much enjoyed every single movie from them, all 19 of them so far, and I really don't see myself stopping. I really don't see myself from not going to the next couple movies and every movie afterwards, because they don't give me a reason not to go. I think the movies are really good. I'm very invested in the characters, and I hope that they keep going on and continue with the storylines, because what they're doing is something that hasn't been done before. Having a universe of all these movies together, and they all intertwine, and they all make sense, and they all come together, it's something pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. So, I also want to talk about sports in this podcast, because I figure that, just like most people watched the Infinity War movie already, or will watch it, most people talk about sports in general. So if you don't know, the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs are going on right now. And so far, I've been not right. Let's put it that way. I haven't been right about picking who will be in the NBA finals. And it's not because I don't know much about basketball, because I do. It's just I try not to pick the obvious picks. So everybody knows that, for example, in the West, you're going to have the Rockets, you're going to have the Warriors in that conference finals. And the East, is going to be LeBron and the Cavaliers and some other team. So to me, that's not very interesting. So what I did is I put some money on some teams there, and I tried to get fancy. So since I'm from Miami, I like the Miami Heat. And I think it was $15 on them to win the NBA championship. No, reach the Eastern Conference. And I believe the payout was like $300 or something of that nature. And I also put money on the Spurs to reach the Western Conference. And if you've been following the NBA, those were one of the very first two, if not the first two teams to get eliminated from the playoffs, which goes to show that perhaps it's not always good betting on these underdog teams. But the thing is that I try to bet on them because sometimes Cinderella stories happen, and you don't have to bet much money to win money on these Cinderella teams. So it only makes sense for me to put money on a team that is plausible for them to win, or improbable. Now, will they win? I don't know. For example, look at the Celtics. Who thought that the Celtics were going to go to the conference finals? I don't know. I don't know how many people who did, because that series versus the 76ers is almost over. They're up 3-1, and I don't see the 76ers coming back and beating the Celtics. So that's another good example right there. I think it was the other day I think it was just a couple of days when the series of the Jazz and the Rockets was 1-1 after the Jazz beat the Rocket at home. I have two fun facts that were not fun fact for me because they weren't fun at all. I put money on the Jazz to make it to the conference finals because I thought, wow, the Jazz are pretty hot, and there's a good chance they'll make it to the conference finals because if they keep playing this way and Donovan Mitchell keeps going crazy, hey, you don't know what could happen. So I put like $20 on it, and I think the payout for it was maybe like, I don't even remember. I know it was more than $100 to make it to the conference finals. And what happens? The Rockets turn it up, and as we're speaking right now, they are leading 3-1 on the series and leading the Jazz by 8 points at halftime. So that just goes to show you how sometimes you can bet on the right Cinderella teams and other times you can't. And then the second fun fact about that was that I also like doing parlays. And one of the parlays that I did was I think it was something like the Dodgers. I think it was maybe an MLS team, a couple of the hockey teams, and I put money on the Rockets to win. And I believe I put something like $15 in one night, and the payout was also ridiculous. All these payouts are always ridiculous. That's the point of this. And I just needed the Rockets to win that game. And they were heavy favorites. And as I already told you, the Jazz ended up winning that game. And I was so pissed off. So pissed off, especially considering that I had been betting on other baseball games and other parlays before. And all I needed was for the team to win. For the team to win, and I would get hundreds of dollars. Just one team, because I had all the other four teams. All the other four teams had won already. I just needed one more team. And the Astros were playing the Rangers. This was like the first couple weeks of the season, I believe. And they were playing the Rangers, and they're winning 5-0. Now, if you know a little bit about baseball, you know that 5-0 is a huge lead at any point in any inning, let alone the fifth inning. And the Rangers ended up winning. And I lost money on that. And then I believe it was the next day, did another parlay similar to that. And the Cardinals lost to the Pirates after winning 5-0. And it's just, but more of the story right here. I'm terrible at picking parlay teams. But I'm going to continue trying because why not? So I think the Warriors are going to make it out of the Western Conference, and they're going to make it to the finals. And the way that LeBron James is playing right now, I don't see how the Celtics can stop him. If the Celtics make it, which they probably will. So it will probably be Cavs Warriors again, and I wouldn't mind. It will be a fourth time in a row, and I wouldn't mind if that was the case. Now I know this all has a lot to do with betting. It's just I like to bet on sports. But as far as for the Stanley Cups go, the NHL playoffs. Is that I also put money on the Nashville Predators and the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cups. So you might be thinking, well, why would he put money on two teams when in reality only one team is going to win? Reason why I did that is because I thought that, hey, you pick a team from the East, you pick a team from the West, and you're set. Because if both teams happen to make it to the Stanley Cup final, then you're guaranteed to win, and you're good to go. So far the Predators are tied with the Jets 3-3, and they got a game coming up on Thursday. And if the Predators win, they're going to make it to their conference finals, and that's good because they're going to face the Golden Knights. And then afterwards, I also bet on the Lightning, like I said, and the Lightning are already in the conference finals. They're going to face the Capitals, which I was surprised they beat the Penguins because Alexander Ovechkin usually chokes against Pittsburgh. But this time he came through. He made it. Finally made it to a conference finals. I don't know. I hope he doesn't beat the Lightning, but who knows? That can all change. And baseball is being pretty crazy right now. There's a lot of teams that I did not expect to be doing as bad as I thought they were gonna do. I'm not as surprised by how good certain teams are. I'm more surprised by how bad the teams are. For example, the Dodgers are a couple games under 500. The Cubs are barely over 500. That was surprising. The Nationals, it wasn't just until last week when they started winning a lot, but they were about 5 games under 500, which was pretty strange as well. And the Twins, I think, the Twins and the Indians are underperforming. More the Indians, because the Indians are a better team. But the Twins are definitely underperforming because I thought they were going to come out of the gate way stronger, build up from their last year. But I guess at the same time, the Twins, they did not come out of the gate as strong as they could have, I guess, last year. And they got better towards after the All-Star break, which is when they went crazy, full bananas, strong offense. And of course, you have the Yankees, Red Sox, Astros, all those teams still good division. In case you're wondering, my favorite team in baseball is Miami Marlins, because I'm also from Miami, like I mentioned. But the Marlins are not near as good as most teams. They're not terrible. They're not, Cincinnati Reds terrible, which currently only have 8 wins this year. The Marlins have 13, so that's, I guess that's something positive. But, I don't know what's going to happen as far as the World Series for baseball goes, because I thought that the Astros and the Dodgers were going to probably make it back to the World Series. And I know it's early because the Dodgers also didn't have a hot start last year when they went all crazy and won like 43 games in 50 games or something like that. I know it's still early, but as of right now, the Dodgers are not looking like a favorite to win the World Series or to even be in the World Series. However, I still think they'll make it there. Kershaw did get injured, which is not good, but I still think they'll make it there. I still think they got depth. And the Astros are very good. The Astros, many people thought they were going to be a little bit better than they currently are right now. But I think how they are right now is fine. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk about was something that I actually I found out about it today. I didn't know what it was until today. Well, I have this app called T-Mobile Tuesdays, which is if you have T-Mobile, you know what it is. It's just you get coupons for certain things and whatnot. And I guess there's something going on this month, maybe with dogs or something, because they have a couple coupons for things related to dogs. And one of the coupons that they have is something called a free month of dog TV. Now, I never heard of dog TV before. I don't even know what dog TV is, but that just sounds terrible. Why would anybody create that? Dog TV. And the picture that they have here is literally a picture of a dog staring at a screen and looking at another dog. And it says, "Don't let your best friend get alone. Score a free month of Dog TV. A TV channel to help keep your pup company while you're away." Now, I don't think this company, okay? I don't think this company is a bad company. I don't know them. I don't know what they stand about. I don't know. I commend the idea because it's true, dogs can get pretty bored and alone. I mean, pretty much all pets do. But at the same time, why would a dog actually stare at a TV? Like, I don't understand that. I mean, I guess they could be occupied, because sometimes when you're watching a movie, if you have your dog next to you, dogs didn't look at the movie, because it's just a curious animal. But I really don't think that having dog TV for your dog, is gonna make a big difference in that dog's life. But I don't know. I could be wrong. If you know a little bit more about dog TV or something of that nature, let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. Eat my words. But for the time being, sounds like a bad idea. So now that there is these are technically or maybe not technically, I guess literally, I don't know, the official graduating summer months for a lot of high school kids and college kids. And I've been seeing on the Facebook a lot of pictures of people graduating and whatnot, and I think it's pretty cool. I think graduation is something that's very important to some folks. I think pretty much almost everybody that goes to college, I guess, intends to graduate at one point or another, and it's just nice. It's nice to see people that you went to high school with, or even just pictures like on Twitter in general that are trending of, whatever. Oh my God, I just got reminded of something very interesting going back to that Twitter stuff. But I think it's pretty cool to see other people graduate and whatnot. I can't wait to graduate myself. I'm over here. I'm on the brink. I'm right on the edge of graduating. I think it's gonna be next year. And then after that, I'm done. And I think that's probably one of the best feelings that you can get, is knowing that you're done with something. And, knowing that you did it with your best intentions. So that's very nice. Going back to that Twitter thing, I don't know why, but I just get reminded of this. I like Twitter. I think Twitter is a very good tool. Twitter is very fun. You can look at the trending things and see what people are talking about. It's almost like a newspaper without it being a newspaper. You get to see what a story is, and you also get people's reactions. Now, not all the time they're great reactions, but you get to see people's reactions. And I guess this is what I started with talking about this podcast, is I just want to interact with people, and whether I actually talk to them or not, it's still fun to read what they have to say, like the Infinity War movie or whatever, or anything of that nature. But sometimes it gets very stupid. So there was this, what was it? A picture going on. It was a couple weeks ago, I believe, or it might have been last week, of this young lady. I'm assuming she was probably 17, 18 or something like that. She was going to prom. And she was going to prom with some kid there. And she was posing with the guy, and it was she said that it was a Chinese dress that she was wearing, and it was a very pretty dress. It was red, so I think red dresses are pretty. So it was a pretty dress. I thought that was very cool, and she just seemed like, I don't know, like she was just having a good time in the picture. And there was some people, well, I guess it was just one guy. There was one guy who decided to comment on the picture and say, "My culture is not your prom dress." And this looks like just an Asian kid. I know, of course, I don't think he would say my culture is not your prom dress if he wasn't actually Asian. It'd be kind of strange. And his tweet, I saw his tweet. It got so many likes. I believe it got like almost to 200,000 likes, as opposed to like her picture, which I don't even think it had 100,000 likes when I looked at it. And not only was the comment like scary, but also the amount of people that liked the dude's comment, I was just amazed. Because if you look at the profile picture of the guy who made the comment, like he himself like had very Western clothes, in the sense that, you know, he had his Adidas hat and just like shorts and like a t-shirt, and you can claim that those are things that really people wear a lot here in the United States. Of course, people wear shorts and shirts in other parts of the world too. I'm not saying it's just here on the United States alone. But his comment to her of "my culture is not your dress" is very hypocritical, in the sense that if we were to do that for everything and everything, okay, I understand that maybe like with some music or movies or something of that nature, but with the dress, that, I mean, I don't remember the last time that we had to get permission to wear something from a different country just because you are not from that country or you're not from that culture. It just doesn't make any sense. I understand if this girl was like trying to depict this dress like in a negative way and like shit on it and say how bad this dress is and something of that nature, but that's not what she did. She didn't do that at all. She was just very excited about wearing the dress, and it was a pretty dress. And this dude just shit it all over her. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that. It's like, we all have opinions about things, and I get that. Okay? But we can't be that way. You can't be that way. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, I'm done talking about that, because it's frustrating to hear that. And another thing, I guess this is just going to be a podcast about my frustrations, or I don't know, but another thing that I saw on Twitter as well, because like I said, Twitter's what's up, was that apparently some school districts are making it mandatory now for everybody to participate. And I don't know with specific school districts. I just was reading a little bit, and I don't remember what part of what school districts, what state specifically. But I knew that this was happening already before I even saw like headlines of it. But that they making it mandatory for everybody to get participation awards for kids. You know, like we're talking like elementary and middle school kids. The participation awards in sports. And there was one particular story that happened recently that it was about a state, or how do you remember? But the idea was that no one there at the school, it was a school, that no one at the school could join the cheerleading club unless everybody joined. So it's not in the sense that like if there's 200 students, like everybody had to join. No, it was like if you wanted to be a cheerleader, you were going to be a cheerleader. And if they denied anybody from being a cheerleader, then no one got to be a cheerleader. And I think once again, just like the thing with the dog TV thing, it's good intentions. Okay? It's good intentions. I get it. It's good intentions. But the thing is that you have to teach kids values and gotta put them through not like a grind because they're young kids, but you have to have them learn and get better at things. Okay? If you have, I don't have any kids, okay? So maybe I'm talking shit. I don't know. But it just makes sense that if you have a 3-year-old, okay, and maybe not 3-year-old, that's kind of young. 3-year-olds are not pretty good at anything for the most part. Okay, let's put it better. 8-year-old, okay? 8-year-old, I think almost every 8-year-old is playing sports, doing something, right? So if you have an 8-year-old who wants to try out for the cheerleading team, and he or she, whatever, doesn't matter, doesn't make it, okay? Why would you have that kid be in the cheerleading team if the kid is not good enough? It's like you're rewarding mediocre performance when compared to this other kid who perhaps was busting their ass off to do splits and freaking somersaults. I don't know what kids in cheerleading do. And then they are going to be in the same team with a kid who doesn't have the same experience, is not as good, who can probably hurt them because someone who gets thrown in the air and who does all these things and relies a lot on your partner. Why would you have a child who's not good be catching them or doing all these crazy stuff? And it goes to like any age, because even if you're like 15, it's the same thing. It doesn't just limit yourself to like being 8 years old. And the same thing with like sports. Yo, if you're playing baseball, if your kids are playing baseball and your child sucks, it's okay. Not everybody's going to get it right away. When I played baseball when I was younger, I was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And it wasn't until I just continued going that I got better. And that's what you got to teach kids. Is if once you are bad at something, if you care about it, just work on it and get better. Don't just reward them because they're participating. It just doesn't make any sense. Please, they need to fix that. I don't know who I'm saying please to. Barely anybody is listening to this. Definitely the school boards are not listening to me. But that is all. This is the very first cassette. I said it right. Cassette of the Cuban Cassette podcast. Okay? It's this one's very short. It's just me, myself, and I. Hopefully, I'll be joined by a couple of my friends in the next couple of weeks. Depends if they don't want to be a bunch of pussies and actually get on the show. It's right, Raymond. It's right, Oscar. I know I have 2 views right now. It's probably just you two listening to see if I'm talking shit about you, which I am. And I told you I was, especially you, Oscar. Fucking pussy. But just make sure that you all tune in next week. I have no idea what my schedule is going to be like. I might not even do a second episode. I might do another episode. I probably will do another episode just because I think it's fun to talk about shit, even if it's just to myself. I mean, I don't mind. Who cares? Who's even counting? I really don't care about how long the podcast is, but I understand that like people don't want to be listening to some dude in his barracks room talk about stuff that frustrates him. But I certainly appreciate you all for listening. If you want to follow the podcast on social media, I'm going to be creating, as we're speaking, actually creating some emails and some Twitter things and some Facebook things, whatever. It's going to be at Cuban Cassette Podcast. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I haven't made it yet, but I think that's what it's going to be. If you want to follow me on Twitter, don't, because I don't tweet very much, so don't worry about that. Otherwise, have a good day, and hopefully you all come around the next time. Thank you for listening.